Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Deutschling, Deutsch Far Away, the podcast for families raising bilingual young learners. Before we begin, a quick note. This episode is recorded in English because many of the parents who follow my work and are interested in my German classes do not speak German themselves. My goal is to support all families on their language learning journey, so parent-focused episodes like this one will be in English, while content and activities for children will continue to be in German. So, willkommen, and let's get started. I'm your host, Nadine, a certified German teacher, homeschooling parent, and the founder of World Language Explorers, where I teach engaging, interactive German lessons for kids and youth aged 3 to 18. I want to start with a little story of my early teaching days today, long before I created interactive classes online. For many years in my foreign language classrooms, I taught the way I had been taught. Textbooks, worksheets, grammar charts, endless fill-in-the-gap exercises. And you know what? Most of my students didn't enjoy it. I hate to say it. They could fill in blanks beautifully, like ich, in brackets, spielen, and then you answer ich spiele. You probably know these kind of exercises. But when my students actually came to speaking, they froze. They didn't feel confident. They didn't feel connected to the language. They didn't make the kind of progress that comes from using the language naturally. And honestly, I felt quite frustrated because deep inside, I wanted to ignite a spark to help them feel the joy of stepping into a new culture, a new identity, a new way of seeing the world. I wanted them to feel what I felt when I learned French as a child. You may not know this about me, but when I was a child, I stayed with a French family for 2 weeks. I was only 9 years old and decided to go and follow an invitation of a family in France that were friends with my father. And what did I do there? Right, I did what children do. I played. I played with French children. I ran it outside. I sat at the table listening to conversations I barely understood at first. I asked for food. I joined games. I listened. I repeated. I laughed. And yeah, sometimes I even cried because I became homesick. So literally, there were no worksheets, no fill in the gaps, no grammar drills, just real life in France. A real French family, real French conversations, real cultural immersion for me. And here's the interesting part. I didn't realize until years later, when I was at university preparing for my master's degree, that this was the reason I fell so much in love with French. It surely wasn't the grammar tables. It wasn't the tests. No way. It was connection. It was play. It was meaningful communication. That early immersion is what helped me master French despite the very rigorous grammar training I later received in school. So let me ask you something. Can you imagine how much your child would love a new language if they had the chance to learn it in the way I learned French? Not through memorization, not through worksheets, not through silent repetition, but through interaction with people, with native speakers, through play, just like I did when I played with the French kids, with creativity. Imagine you could write your own little stories in that new language. Through movement, Because we didn't sit still. We were children. We ran around. Learn through real conversations, not just a fancy dialogue about Frau Müller and Herr Schmidt, and through cultural moments that stick. And maybe crafting your own lantern for a lantern walk. The beautiful news? Your child doesn't need a plane ticket to Germany or France to experience this. Although, if you can, take them. I highly recommend it. But what you do need is a learning environment that recreates that feeling of immersion. This brings us to why games are so unbelievably effective in language learning. Games remove pressure. Kids feel safe making mistakes. Their brains light up with excitement, curiosity, and creativity. Interactive activities trigger the exact same learning system that immersion sets off. It becomes natural, organic, effortless. When a child is playing a quiz, like a Nearpod or Moodle quiz, drawing a German pretzel, or doing a collaborative vocabulary challenge, they are engaging with the language the way children naturally do. Yes, through play, connection, and meaningful action. And this is what accelerates learning. In my own classes, Nearpod allows me to recreate the kind of immersion I experienced in France, but tailored for today's online learners. Nearpod is an LMS where I can actually play with the children during live online lessons. We use live matching games, draw it activities, polls, virtual field trips to Germany, conversation boards, cultural photo explorations, and role-play prompts. All of this builds a learning environment where my learners don't just look at German, they experience it, they get immersed. And this is why students begin speaking earlier. That's why they remember vocabulary longer. And that's why they look forward to German class. Many parents tell me, oh, my kid, they can't wait until the next German lesson. I mean, that's the best thing. After teaching hundreds of children, I've seen the same beautiful pattern. After a few weeks, kids start speaking naturally in German. After a few months, they build sentences, ask questions, and see themselves as German speakers. And most importantly, they enjoy it. The spark is there, the curiosity grows. Thank you so much for joining me today on Deutschling Deutsch Far Away. If this episode resonated with you, especially the part about joyful and natural learning, I invite you to download the free German Starter Kit, 30 phrases every child should know in German, linked in the show notes. Inside, you'll find a mini lesson your child will love. Let your child experience language the way I did, through connection, fun, and meaningful communication. Vielen Dank fürs Zuhören und bis ganz bald. Tschüss!